Hi viewers, welcome to the Grammar Channel. Today we are listening to a story, Shy Salma. Once upon a time, there lived a little girl. Her name is Salma. Salma was very shy. She was so shy that she couldn't even say hello or thank you when people speak to her. Salma wished and wished she was not shy. Her mother was quite annoyed with her, but she just couldn't make her tongue talk when visitors came. One day, Salma went for a picnic with her aunt Rekha. They went to a park and her aunt sat down, leaned against a tree, and said to Salma, "Why don't you run about and play, Salma?" Soon Aunt Rekha was fast asleep. Salma played by herself for some time. Then suddenly, just behind a big bush, she saw a very tiny people. They were talking in high voices like birds. Salma stared in great surprise. Were they dwarfs or fairies or aliens? They looked up at her, smiled. "Good afternoon," said one. "What is your name, little girl?" Well, of course, Salma was too shy to say her name. She just looked down at the ground and said nothing. "We are going to look around this park," said another. "Would you like to come with us, little girl?" Salma liked the idea very much, but she still did not answer. Then all the creatures began to talk to one another in surprise. "She doesn't speak. She doesn't say a word. Do you suppose she has a tongue? Poor little girl, she cannot talk. And she looks like such a nice little girl, too. What can we do about it?" "Have you a tongue, little girl?" asked the first creature. Still, Salma did not answer. She continued to look down. "Well, look at her shoes," said another one. "They are nice little lace shoes and they each have tongues. We could make them talk instead of her. Then, when people ask her questions, the tongues of her shoes can answer for her. That would be a help to her." Before Salma could move her feet, one of the little creatures had rubbed something onto the tongue of each shoe. Then they turned to Salma. "Can you speak now, little girl?" they asked. And to Salma's enormous surprise, a voice answered from down near her feet, a funny, deep voice. "Yes, thank you, I can speak." Salma had such a shock that she ran to her aunt and woke her up from her sleep. "Oh, is anything wrong, Salma?" Salma shook her head, but the tongues answered once. "No, nothing is the matter. Thank you, Auntie." Her aunt was surprised to hear such a deep voice. "Why, it sounds as if your voice has gone down to your shoes," she said. "Now come along, it's time to go home." When they went home, they found her mother had visitors. "Oh, so this is Salma," said Mrs. Kumar. "How do you do, Salma?" Well, Salma felt shy, of course, and could not say a word. But that did not matter. Her shoes answered cheerfully for her. "I'm quite well, thank you, Auntie." "What a well mannered child, but such a deep voice," said Mrs. Kumar. "And where have you been for your walk today, my dear?" The shoes spoke at once. "Oh, I went to the hanging gardens and over the hill and down by the shops and walked home by the seaside, about 6 kilometers." "Salma, what stories?" said Aunt Rekha after Mrs. Kumar left. "Salma, don't tell such naughty stories," said her mother, quite shocked. "Please go to your room. I do like you to speak when people speak to you, but not to tell stories like that." Salma ran out of the room. She was very angry with her shoes. "Next time anybody asks me anything, I'll answer before my shoes do, so that they cannot get in their naughty stories first," she thought. Next day, When her mother's friend spoke to her, Salma answered at once. Do you know any songs? Asked her mother's friend. Could you please sing for me? Salma thought she must sing at once before her shoe tongue sang something all wrong. So she opened her mouth and sang a beautiful song. Aunt Reka and her mother listened and they were very surprised. Her mother's friend clapped her hands when Salma had finished. How lovely, Salma! You must sing at the school concert. Salma was very excited. She began to think that it was a very good idea to speak when she was spoken to and to be polite and well mannered. Also, it was nice when people thought she was a clever little girl. She decided she just would not let those shoes of hers say any other word. So, as soon as anyone spoke to her all that week, Salma had an answer ready. Soon people stopped saying that Salma was shy. How silly I was to be shy, she thought. I never will be shy again, and I will never let those shoe tongues say any single word.